The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to medical doctors of any practice and speciality to apply to the Foundation's private weekly medical teaching workshop. This includes medical doctors, dentists, and veterinarians. Scientists of the Kesh Foundation developed different types of plasma therapies and cures that utilize advanced, non-invasive plasma technology. The weekly private medical teaching workshop educates doctors to the plasma science behind the therapies, along with the functionality and operation of revolutionary plasma medical devices. The goal of the private teachings is to add plasma health knowledge to the profound knowledge of medical doctors. The weekly class is broadcast live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday from 2 to 5 p.m. Central European Time. Presently, the class is only offered in English. However, you are free to bring a translator to the class. If you can't participate in the live broadcast, you can watch them later at your convenience through a private internet portal. Every patient's case that is discussed in the workshop will be kept anonymous and private. This includes cataloged findings and data gained from the analysis of the patient's health issues. Any medical doctor in the world who wants to participate can do so by sending an email to doctors@spaceshipinstitute.org. In your email, please state your willingness to participate in the medical teaching workshop. If you're planning on bringing a translator to the workshop, please state this in your email as well. After we receive your email, we will contact you with the instructions on how to apply to the workshop. As a part of the application process, applicants who apply, including any translators brought into the workshop, will be required to sign the Kesh Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. All applicants will be required to provide proof of their education and ability to practice medicine, and will also be required to pass an extensive security background check before they are granted access to the teaching workshop. Healthful plasma technology is here, now, the use of which is increasing exponentially on a day-to-day basis on every continent. We encourage you to come and learn about this revolutionary technology. Apply today. The Kesh Foundation is extending an invitation to experienced farmers, agricultural specialists, and researchers to apply to the Foundation's private weekly agriculture teaching workshops. If you fall into one of these categories and are interested in plasma technology integration into agriculture, you're invited to apply. Scientists and agricultural practitioners of the Kesh Foundation continually develop and apply new methods of food and fiber production, soil fertility management, plant and livestock health management, and increased farm productivity using the most advanced plasma technology that is taught at the Kesh Foundation Spaceship Institute. In the teaching workshop, you'll learn the science of plasma technology and its applications in the field of agriculture for enhanced and equitable global food production while minimizing costs and external inputs. Practicing farmers and Kesh Foundation scientists will demonstrate their application of plasma technology in agriculture and the ensuing results of such applications, thus deepening and enriching learning for all participants in the private teachings. Participants are encouraged to demonstrate their farming practices in the teaching workshop. The private teachings are broadcast in English live over the internet through a secure private channel every Wednesday at 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central European Time. If necessary, you may bring a translator to the workshop. All applications are required to provide proof of their education and professional qualifications, must pass a security background check, and are required to sign the Kesh Foundation's World Peace Treaty, which can be found at the following web address. Translators that attend must also pass a security check and sign the World Peace Treaty. For details on how to join the private teachings in agriculture, send an email to agriculture@kfssi.org stating that you'd like to participate. Include in the email your education and agricultural experience and reasons for your interest in plasma technology. Applicants will be contacted with further instructions and details on the application process. The Kesh Foundation is proud to announce the Second Universal Council and Second Science Conferences, which will be held in Rome, March 27th through 31st, 2017. If you're interested in attending both or either conference, please go to www.keshfoundation.org and click on New Web Shop at the top of the homepage. You can attend the conferences as an audience member or participate as a science conference presenter. Presenters will be allocated 1 hour to present products and innovations in Kesh plasma technology in any of the following categories: space technology, health, materials, energy, agriculture, transportation, the environment, GANs and nanotech, and any other area that applies. Foundation distributors and manufacturers will be attending the conference, affording you the opportunity to build relationships to promote and market your products. The full package price for both conferences is €1,650 per person, which includes daily attendance to the conferences, 6-night stay in Rome, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations for this package is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. The full package price for 2 persons for both conferences is €3,300, which includes daily attendance for 2 persons, 6-night stay in Rome, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the conferences. Accommodations for this package include a twin room with a king-size bed. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. You can stay additional nights if you wish at a cost of €175 per night per person. A single ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Council Conference, which takes place on the 27th and 28th, is €750, which includes the price of admission plus 2-night stay in Rome in a 2 single-bed room, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 29th. A 2-person ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Council Conference is €1,500, which includes the price of admission plus 2-night stay in Rome in a hotel room with a king-size bed, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 26th of March, check-out on the 29th. A single ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Science Conference, which takes place on March 29th through March 31st, is €1,150, which includes the price of admission plus 4-night stay in Rome in a 2 single-bed room, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations is based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 28th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. A 2-person ticket for those who wish to only attend the Universal Science Conference is €2,300, which includes the price of admission plus 4-night stay in Rome in a hotel room with a king-size bed, as well as breakfast, tea, and lunch on the days of the event. Accommodations are based on double occupancy. Check-in on the 28th of March, check-out on the 1st of April. If you would like to attend and prefer to make your own arrangements for accommodations, the price of admission to either conference is €200 per day. We look forward to meeting you at the Second Universal Science and Council Conferences in Rome, March 27th through 31st, 2017.
Welcome everyone to the 161st Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, we'll have Mr. Keshe of the Keshe Foundation available to speak to us about the latest developments of the Keshe Foundation and Spaceship Institute and some of the new directions that the organization is taking in the future. Mr. Keshe, are you available in the background there?
Yes, good morning, good day to you. As usual, whenever and wherever you listen to these Knowledge Seekers programs. As you're aware, we are in what we call massive move in the direction of delivering and developing new technologies and conditions and facilities for development. The Keshe Foundation project in Ghana has taken next steps that we have now appointed the architects and the builders of the site. The plans have been given to them of the site. We have been given 220,000 plus square meters of land by the government to develop this technology. It will come into fruition, as we'll see in the coming weeks. What we'll do, we'll release the pictures or the designs by the architects of the land, what they're going to develop and how it's going to be. And in a way, you can all participate in it, in what you see, what would like to share. In the coming time, we most probably set the site up especially for the development, because this development is one nation development, and worldwide we are all one nation. So we can all, with our professions, if we want to see something done or be developed, can participate in it and or ask for it to see if it can be done, or is a point we missed. We rely on your judgments and your knowledge and expertise to guide us. It's got to be understood, this is an international work at this moment in time to become one nation. The property is to be done in the stages of what we've been asked to open a clinic on site. It's the first phase we've been asked by the officials to open the clinic as a priority. Then the factory will open at the same time, the research center next to it, and the space launch lab. This becomes, in a way, pan-continent work. All of us have to participate in it. As I have said before, once we show the plans, people understand, we will see the momentum starting. We already have seen donations coming in for the development. These all be earmarked for that purpose. And this allows us to do it. Donation cannot be financial only. We need donation of thoughts, the knowledge, the information, the time to do things that can be brought into Ghana. We have seen those people who are trying to disturb, been calling newspapers heavily. We had a meeting with the newspapers yesterday, and they said they received so many calls and they just told them to get lost. People across Accra in Ghana are benefiting by it. You're not nothing but terrorists, especially Mr. Sir Sylvester. Your reports with the newspapers well documented here, and we will respond according to your work. The press was very impressed by how they claim everything, and in a way, they say we see the benefit to Africa. This is again what they say. Everybody is trying to force their way to stop the progress. We are one nation. We see, we monitor, we talk to securities, we talk with people in what they do. In time, we will pass these shortcomings of the short-sighted people benefiting their pockets. We will develop and we'll go further. I've been asked why don't I comment anymore on regarding DL. This is now in the hand of prosecutors. This is a highly involved pan-European, actually world security, that we cannot disclose anymore. You will find us will not discuss anything any further in this matter, as prosecutors in 3 or 4 nations are working heavily, and we've been told to not make any comment. So it's not that we step back, it's that we've been told, due to the massive investigation, bank accounts in Cayman Islands and everything else which is involved, set up by DL to defraud taxes in European countries, all been revealed. And now the responses has to be answered through the prosecutors, not us, and all the other things. So when you see we don't comment, it's not our weakness, it's instruction we have, and the amount of information has been delivered to the securities and the governmental offices that shows the plan to defraud goes back Cayman Island accounts to 1990s. So it's not something new. And other companies in Luxembourg and in Australia and everything now is in the hand of the authorities in Europe, how the DL and his team have defrauded the government. In due course, we've been told by the researchers, these documents of the banking defrauding will be released on the facts about Turk. You will see it is highly tainted with all sorts of things. So please do not take it as our weakness. We have to stand firm in the instruction we have from the police and other prosecutors in completing the affairs. In respect to developments of the technology, we have to go further. We have to start looking, as it takes time for you to understand how technology develops into space. We've done most of the work on the ground. We've done the GANS work, we've done the plasma work, we've done every other thing which is possible. And we have done everything which could more or less to bring insight in how the ultimate goal was to see the interaction of fields. As I said before, we started a copper, we nano-coated it. Then we created an environmental condition that a nano-coating became GANS. And then in the production of the GANS, we came to understand the interaction of the fields of the GANS with each other, on the body of the man, on the environment, on production of material. These were step by step of teaching. These were step by step to mature the knowledge. But don't forget, we started with a few. Now there are those others who are coming in the background as you are teaching more and more, so they are catching up. The numbers is becoming an avalanche of knowledge seekers. It's become a point for us that we don't walk into a meeting with the officials and scientists trying to prove a new technology, is how can we go to the next step faster. We are setting meetings more or less on a daily basis, 2-3 a week, with high-ranking scientists of different governments and governmental organizations, in not proving the technology anymore, is what is the next? What do we need to learn to be part of it? What is needed to be done that we can bring nations in line, that they can be developed? This pressure comes on you. I've done my work. This teaching, national teachings across Africa, across Europe, across Asia comes to you. The knowledge seeker programs you are running, the workshops you are running, has to be not only making coils, not making ganses, but understanding and teaching of what is to come because of it. This is the point of the turn. What this thing is going to develop, what is going to deliver, what is going to bring for us as a humanity in the progress of the understanding of the work of the universe. This is where we are coming to. Not just making coils and ganses. You make coil making, GANS making, nanocoat making, all as part of a small part of the teaching. When you do workshops, maybe in the first couple of hours, explain, let them feel it. You have to enlighten your knowledge seekers in what is to deliver. What does he have in interaction with my body, with your body, with the environment, with the tree, with the fish. In further step, teaching them the time how we connect with others beyond the boundaries of this planet. We are like a little fish in the ocean of the universe. A tiny amoeba. We always thought the whole ocean was our world, but we are happy with a little square, with a little pot. Now the pot has opened. we'll see other dimensions of the existence. We came from individuals to village life, to town life, to city life, then we made the countries, and then we made the continents, and we made the planet. Now is the next step, opening the universe. And it's the job of you to enlighten people, not to look just for the energy, not to look for the cancer. It'll be over. What next? Now we have everything. This is where your teaching becomes enlightening, when you can share knowledge in the hand of the people who can change and bring transformation for humanity. What are the things we do? In the last teachings, I referred in understanding the impression of thoughts, the emotion. For example, we looked at putting different ganses of different slight mixtures of zinc, maybe with a slight different mixture of the salinity, strength, and maybe with two different type of zincs from two different salinities of two different salts. That we can see how, which one is the emotion of which strength. If you make the GANs of salt with potassium, and then you make a GANs with the salt of sodium, would one be the strength of the emotion, and one would be the strength of the physical motion? Don't forget, in the body of the man, the motion, contraction and expansion comes from what we call the pumps. Sodium, potassium pump. That is the physical looking at it. On the other side is the strength field of the matter in the pumps, what they call it. So now is time for us to develop the knowledge of the interaction of different strength of the same material in different environment. Would the GANs produced by sodium chloride be the same as potassium? It's slightly different. Would one of magnesium will be of the happiness, and potassium of different will be of joy, and the other one of sorrow? The real work of space technology starts from now. We spend years showing how to be born in the world of plasma, how to start to crawl. It's the time to stand up now and observe and understand the situation and the physicality of the work of the plasma. Standing up, it means being prepared to take the steps up the ladder of the knowledge of the universe. And this is our job. From now on, we go back to nano, we go back to GANs just for referral, just a sweet old time. The new life, the new depth of information has to be gathered, that by the time we finish the Space Institute buildings in Ghana, we understand the teaching that we are ready to take in the spans of the universe. Not then, oh wait, now, do you know how to speak? Do you know how to see? Do you know how to interact? The teachings from now on will prepare man into that destiny. And this is our job from now on. You still have to teach the GANs, you still have to teach the nanomaking, but has to become a small part, that the enlightenment of the beauty of the future in the span of the universe and the peace on this planet become the goal. This is where Keshe Foundation, KFSSI, and KFSI, Keshe Foundation teachings come into one point, merges as one. In the time, a few weeks ago, a couple of weeks ago, we explained about the emotion. See which layer will move. See which bucket with which GANs will start rotating faster and slower. When you feel it, when your emotion interaction interacts with the fields of the plasma of the material. Now, consider if you have these different boxes in front of you, and you see your joy translates to motion, slower or a faster of one of the containers with given GANs, now consider that container as one of your, let's say, brothers in a deep space. He feels your emotion of happiness. This is not as you are working with a box. This is a practice to see how your emotion is transferred in the dimension of the GANs to another entity. The ultimate goal will be to reduce everything to GANs of hydrogen. But we have to start somewhere. One of the biggest problems for a man will be the trust in the emotion and the dimension of the observation without the eye. Will become to rely on the feelings and our emotion more than eyes. We will see through the light of the soul, not through the eye of the man. How can we do this? How can we practice? How can we make a sandbank that we can practice on? Go back to the understanding of the work of the GANs. Go back on the understanding of the principle of the CO2 box. On copper oxide and zinc, you didn't get copper or zinc, you got the CO2. Start playing with the mixtures that you understand how you can control your emotion in respect to the environment you have created, and how you can transfer this knowledge to what you have created. Put a camera, close your eyes. Use your emotion to communicate, to see. And see what you see afterwards is the same as what you see in the camera, in the recordings. Put the box of GANs in front of you when it's in motion, and try through the emotion without the eyes to develop your senses of beyond the boundaries, but through the fields beyond the boundaries of physicality. Let me explain to you why you need this. In space, our horizon is very, very short. Even though we can see into deep space, we cannot see the details. At the speeds we travel in deep space, our eyesight becomes nothing but blurred things that, as we say by the experience on this planet, if you live in the Western world and if you listen to the news, sometimes when the news goes out, there is a little notice. Please be warned, there are flashing lights in this report. What does it mean? Translate the knowledge. With many people, flashing lights, rapid flashing lights, is the information which enters the eye, and by going to the brain, but the brain not being able to decipher the amount of light and the knowledge comes in one together, you go into the seizure, you go into epileptic attack. That's why people with migraine and epilepsy are advised not to watch movies with the flashing lights or in those conditions. Because when the brain cannot decipher information to react, then it produces information which the physicality cannot accept, it switches off, you call it epileptic attacks or seizures. Now imagine you travel in a deep space, and the speed you travel, the light passing you is beyond the comprehension. So the survival teaches you to close the eye. But how much can you close the eye? And when you close the eye, how you're going to trust the environment you're traveling into. Fear of unknown becomes the burden and the noose around the neck of the man for his survival. That is why you have to understand, we start the teaching in understanding without the vision. This way, you won't see 17 kilometers horizon line or 17 miles horizon line. You will see in the depth of the universe. The brain of the man is been developed in the way to work with this. Is the man of the fear of his own understanding has never opened the gates of the brain. The evolution of the brain of the man will be horrendous. We will see the shrinkage in the physical part, but we will see expansion in the parts of the emotion and the soul of the man. In a way, the brain of the man will become like the jacket turned inside out. Because we need more of the emotion, we need more of the strength of the soul to be able to see the higher speed, higher strength fields in a deeper space, that we don't see 17 kilometers, but we've seen 17 light years ahead of us. This is not fallacy. The man will understand this when he comes to come to space. It is part of us who has ignored the existence to confirm our existence in the physical world. Deep space opens the soul of the man. Where the physicality is just a boundary of the confirmation of the existence of the internal strength, the soul of the man. How do we judge? Passing so many lights so fast becomes incomprehensible to the brain of the man. And the only way it can do is to increase the dimension of the higher speed order matters that can read, can decipher the information which comes to it. The brain of the man burns out with a little bit of stress. We call it a stroke. Imagine how you're going to handle this, unless you bring the strength of the level of the emotional part of the man to be more or less the totality of the outer boundary, with a very small bound for its physicality. This is the secret. This is the key. We have to, and we will train our people to be able to do this. By the time we take into the deeper space, we have to understand the control of emotion. We have to understand detachment from the physicality of body of the man as is on this planet. We have to learn the peaceful application of our own emotion and interaction of our emotion with our souls and other souls. We are moving away from physicality, where physicality is just for manifestation of the conformation of existence of something in the environment of the others. Deep space is so beautiful. It's for man to discover it. It's for man to trust in it and live and obey the rules of the universe. Been in it for millions of years. If the man learns what we know, man will follow blind, because this is the promised beauty land. This is a promised land. The promised land is the steepest space where man finds peace in every corner. This is what is our work from now on. We have to raise the level of the humanity in totality, that one does not fall behind. My work will show this in the coming weeks. The foundation will make effort pan-continental to raise in one level the whole of understanding. Keshe Foundation management team is getting prepared for it, to be able to handle this in the coming months. In time, we hand over the whole control to the World Council and then to Universal Council. We prepare the ground, and it's our job, those of us who always talked about peace, wanting peace, not to fight the war makers, but prepare the ground that they become irrelevant. When I don't need arms, you can produce as much as you like. When you don't sell, you run out of money, you stop. I had one of the most beautiful news coming from the new United States President. Because the African readers are so corrupt, we are going to stop the aid to Africa. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. This is the wish of Africa. When so much so-called cheap food has been put into Africa, that the African farmer is not worth farming anymore. Now don't send any more aids, that we can go back to producing what is needed by this continent. At least one sensible things we have heard from the new president, and we thank you for it. If you can follow, if the American farmers allow you to carry it out, because they've been making a lot of money out of false economy farming. This is what we need to do. This is what we have to do. This is what is needed to show we do not need to be bounded with the physical material world for feed. This is what we have to offer from the bank of the knowledge of the plasma technology. Teachings must go on. You cannot stop teaching. Because amongst the ones you teach will be the future men, children, and the life to carry the information of the existence on this planet into the universe. Nowadays we are happy, we say, I'm from Iran, I'm from United States, I'm from China. In deep space we say, we are from Earth. And when they ask you why you're in different colors and shapes, because we have different environments. In your planet you have one, you all look the same. The planet Earth is beautiful. It has the diversity, allows the diversity of the existence, but unisons in thought and action. The way we invite people from other countries to come to Italy, to come to France, to come to Africa, see the beauty of what we have. This is what we'll do in deep space. Come to Earth and see the unity of mankind. We have to understand how to see without the eye. We have to understand how to feel without touching, tasting. We don't need to eat another entity to see how it tastes. If he likes, he gives us the texture of his feeling for us to know how it feels. I always refer to an old movie where very famous actress in her childhood sitting, white, blonde, blue eye, with a dark black eye, brown skin, and it says, "Can I lick you? Do you taste like chocolate?" Man has to pass this border to taste. Man has to learn how to use his emotion and his soul to feel, to share, to give and to take. And this is where the real job of a Spaceship Institute starts. Keshe Foundation taught the work of the man on this planet. KFSSI brings out the connection between the two, and Spaceship Institute opened the door into space. But the real dimension, not in clothes that you have to be trained for 7 years how to learn to turn one screw in one position somewhere in space. As I was talking in the medical teaching yesterday, when we go into space, the fear of our own fear, like jumping in the water, we are afraid we might get drowned. We have never walked into a deep space without any cover. The fear of death has prevented us from testing. But in fact, if you tune your brain, if you tune your emotion, if you tune your soul together, when you leave the boundary of what you call a spaceship, you adjust yourself into the environment you are walking into. There is no need for a spacesuit and practicing for 7 years. As I always say, how many of you have been to the training school and you had to pass a test to be able to get a flight to go from, let's say, China to India? We have accepted that the conditions are made. It's the same as what we accept. We buy a ticket, we walk in. But now the ticket is for man to understand his own emotion and soul and how it connects to his physicality in respect to his environment. Would we open the schools of, instead of jumping in the pool and see how you behave, we jump or enter into the environment when the plasmatic magnetic field changes, and we have to change to it to see how much we can change, where is the weakness in our emotion in respect to the environment that we can survive it. We don't need a spacesuit. This is what you will receive in Ghana, a Spaceship Institute research center. It will come very easy. The way you go for a driving license is to go for development of your emotion in respect to change, that in the space you can learn how to survive. If you like to stick with a space suit, you're perfect, no problem. There is nothing wrong with it. But if you decide to work without the oxygen that you breathe, but receive the energy of the oxygen that your amino acid can survive, you'll be taught, you will teach yourself. The horizon of opening a space for man is beyond man's imagination. It's taken us 3 years, 10 years to walk you from matter into plasma and fields. I hope I don't have to wait 1,000 years for man to change, to learn the space is safe. It's him who has put the barriers for himself. You don't need to go through evolution of changing. The brain of the man has a common denominator, hydrogen. And the beauty of it is, as I was explaining in the teaching yesterday, the existence of nitrogen allows you the conversion and application, release and absorption of helium. Or if you look at the helium, the interaction of double hydrogen, stellium. In fact, in the deep space, your whole body will behave as one. Your structure of the plasma will behave in a way that it behaves as a multiples of deuteriums. So the whole body interacts as the soup of the universe. Look, carbon 12, 6 of them. Look, nitrogen 14, 7 of them. Look at oxygen, 8 of them. Put them together, you have oddity. What is the oddity? It's the hydrogen again, which allows the transformation in the condition of the plasma strength, in confirming the existence and line of communication. We have to understand that by fluke of accident, by the position of the planet, the way it has been in being tilted in its gas composition, in its matter composition, the human race has been given a unique position to be able to live the spans of the universe. If we understand this, we enter into the next level of being able to live at least for next few million years till the man matures into the next step, to be able to move from the universe in the unicos. I've been asked before, has man ever been to unicos? Yes. Some of our ancestors who have come across and been in line of communication have made the journey through and with the others. I've been asked, can I clarify if there has been or there is a contact with the human race? Yes, there is. Especially in the recent past at the highest level, irrespective of governments, especially those who are in a war zone. Those who incite wars have been excluded. Those who support peace, share of knowledge, communication is taking step by step, that the mistakes of the past is not repeated, that it stays elite only to few. We teach from the bottom, and on the team, on the top, we enlighten the top. That then we do not create the Christianity for the satisfaction of some, for the others on the top to still be in charge and control. For those who don't understand, go back in the past teaching. I have explained how Christianity has become what it is, through the Roman Empire is trying to hold on to the hidden way of path of belief, which they learned from the Persians, and at the same time allowing, by fitting it into what the common people wanted, making a fake presentation of the truth. This time this cannot happen in a space. We work on both levels. Enlightenment of the man from the ground floor to the top, and in a way not enforcing but teaching the world leaders that the time to be all equal has come, and the people on the ground are learning what you think is the exclusivity of yours. My confirmation goes to the leaders of China. You understand exactly what we are talking about. You have to understand, the education has to come this time from both sides. From the top in equal, and from the bottom in understanding the equality of the man in level of his soul. That one cannot abuse the other. there are no kings in the kingdom of God except Him. You have to understand, start testing your emotion. We have given this privilege to the Universal Council members. We have given this as a right to the members of the World Council. The right of insight into the universal community in a slow space and time will become the right of the members of the World Council, that they can see and understand in interaction of both. The Universal Council members possess it as long as they are members of the Universal Council, and thereon they will not even remember. Because, as we said, my wish is my command. The command of the Universal Council is to bring understanding amongst man in understanding the soul of the totality, where the Universal Council is to bring everyone on the same level. The work of the World Council is to be able to unite and unify the both sides, the Universal Council and the universal community. They are the channels of wisdom, but the wisdom of the universe. In time, they will translate. You have to teach yourself how to see without the eye, how to feel without touching, without eating, without smelling, and without putting your finger in there. If I touch, how it feels. Man will come to understand in parts. It will become like the clownfish, where he imitates between the male and the female as it needs. We have to learn, these are the processes which are embedded in the soul of the man, but in the physical dimension we have tried to ignore. The freedom of physicality has suppressed the power of the soul and emotion. And with this technology we are opening the reverse, because that's the way the universe works. Make yourself ganses which are at the level of the emotion of the man. Make yourself ganses which are at the emotion of the soul of the man. Make yourself ganses at the emotion of the vegetation. Make emotions and the ganses and emotion of the level of the solid, as they are still the same of a stone. And try to see without the eye. Try to see how your interactions will bring reactions from them. Do they move further away from you? Would the gans take a dip and move away because he wants nothing to give, but in a way I need further distance to be able to be in balance? And see if when you give with the joy, the whole gans moves to one side towards you. I want to be closer because you give what I need. These are the schools of the training of the man for deeper space. And in next few weeks and months, the more and more of you practice, then we open the schools of the Space Institute in Ghana for man to be able to enter the kingdom of God. When you decide, you see through the eye of the soul, not the two holes which are not worth even opening with the body of the man. The real teaching of the Spaceship Institute has started, as I said, from Christmas. Slowly, slowly, we're building up the openness of the knowledge. Those who get enlightened will join in. Those who still need to have attached to physicality will still be there, and those who teach will be enlightened to teach more. But try to practice. How? Try to see in which way you can communicate without the physicality. try to taste the CO2 gans, and then try to put the CO2 gans, and without touching it, feel its energy that it gives the taste and the pleasure of what you did. Try to do what was done before, where you put an orange, you put the amino acid, you put the CO2, you put the CH3, and you put CuO around it with a zinc oxide, and you drank the water and it tasted like orange. By God, your body is the water, contains that water. Your body contains that zinc. Your body contains that amino acid. If you are mature enough, when you look at the orange, you feel the taste of it. You take the energy what is prepared to take without you touching it. Now you understand the point of maturity. You had to transfer the taste of orange into a water which had these plasmas around it. Your body is made of that plasma. The containment of the glass and the water is the body of the man. Did you need to consume the orange? Or the orange stayed intact with what it gave out. You took, you tasted, you took the energy of it, you had the pleasure of its existence without consuming it. This is the maturity of the man in deep space. Thy shall not kill. You have done all the experiments in a physical dimension. All I'm doing, I'm connecting the links to your emotion to understand you are the cup. You are the Holy Grail. And you never knew. The body of the man contains everything. It's the man who has to know how to tap into it. And we have opened the knowledge that you can see because you have tasted it. When you see the work where you put a few dynamic things together and you get the matter, do the same with the body of yourself. The blood in one hand and the other is the dynamic plasma of the existence with the current. Make your emotion to see the hand. You wish gold, there shall be gold in the hand of the palm of the man. Peter has shown you. The plastic which collected the metals is the palm of the hand of the man. Two cores is the hand of the man, and the brain of the man from outside with his emotion dictating what it wants to see will create the material you need, even the existence within the hands of the man. Now you understand. You've been to the school of teaching fully. Man has every knowledge from now on how to do what has been his wish, but has never connected it to himself. And from now on we connect. We bring examples for you to understand. I've done this, but I didn't see it. Now I can do it. Put a lover in front of you and see how much love you can give, and see if the love is reciprocated, or is there a true love. Then you don't waste your time loving an idol. Where there is no reflection of the motion back. Man will participate in creating new generation of beings in the universe, in interaction of the soul, of emotion of the man with the other entities, where in physical life is impossibilities. The children of the universe are made of every race in the universe for those who understood this interaction. Making love and the beauty of it, of its offspring, does not need physical interaction, the way the man has got used to it on this planet. I said many years ago to Caroline, we come to this planet, to the physical dimensions like this, to enjoy the touch of physicality, when in fact we are committed to the dimension of the soul, of the existence of the universe. Caroline and I, here in Africa, we see a lot of things. We see a lot of pain, but we see a lot of serenity. We see a lot of self-control in understanding of the emotion, and through it the fear has been existed and confirmed in their souls that they can be controlled by one little man. In the West we call it the Christ, and we call it Muhammad. Here they call it the witch doctor. Control of the emotion through the soul of the man. Miniature version of a bigger structure, but in fact the work of the same thing. The man has got to go through this barrier, has got to go through the point where he trusts in his own soul and sees without the physicality. This is the job of the KFSSI and Keshe Foundation, to bring man to that level, that when they come to Spaceship Institute, they are mature enough to enter the next dimension, which is detachment from physicality, but understanding the totality. Not many will pass this level. Not many will take the journey. In the past, when I discussed this, that we are here to save those and very few, there was an outcry by Caroline and Dr. Kostova. You cannot leave the children behind. You have to take all. We give the opportunity to all. It's for the soul to choose. Maybe now they understand. Maybe now they comprehend what is to come. The choice is given to the man. And it's for the man to take the next step. Stay within the confinement of the pleasure of the physicality of this village of Earth, or take a step to see what the village of the universe in the world of the Unicos has to give. Once the man starts traveling the spans of this universe, we'll find out it's too small. I can travel faster. I'm going from one end to another. I've seen this many times. Because the life of the man will not be in 60 and 100 years as you are used to it. It runs in thousands, and you have time to be everywhere, and you learn the speed of the transformation and the speed of transportation. Then the shell of the life of the village of this universe becomes too small. And then we start getting that itching foot to see what's behind the line of this universe. Then we have to learn the rules of the Unicos, which is totally different, but very much similar to what we learned in the village of the Earth. You got to learn that in the village of the Unicos, each village has its own behavior, has its own environment. It's like when you come to Africa, it's hot. Day and night. You go to the North Pole, it's freezing, and everything else. It's the same in the dimension of the Unicos. Each universe has its own composition. That's why it stays in that direction and in that dimension. It's for man in the future to learn how to adapt in the new dimensions. But you'll find out by carrying the basic fundamental hydrogen as a part of the existence, man has already been given and key into the level of the existence in the unicos. But he has to graduate. He has to go through it to understand it. For some, will take a few seconds, and for some, will be century travels, millions of years, and never succeed. Because they have not matured enough to go to the inner sanctum of their souls to see the totality of the creation. Try to practice. Make as many different ganses and see how you can influence those ganses which are matter level, in those ganses which are emotion level, those ganses which are in the dimension of the soul of the man. And start testing yourself, and then you'll be graduated when you come to the school. This is very much like what we call the evening classes. You practice at home, you teach at home, and come to the institute to graduate. And we teach you the final part. There are no failures, it's just the lack of understanding which gives us the limitation of the existence. Try to teach as much as you can. It's upon us to build the Spaceship Institute. I have put all my effort into it, and you shall see. The Spaceship Institute in Ghana will become the focal point of humanity and the door into the universe. I have made my commitment. I stay here till my dying days, but I teach the man how to enter the Universal Council and how to enter through Universal Council, the World Council, and through the respect for them to see the door in the opening of the universe. You cannot open the key to the universal community if you have no respect for where you came from, and understand that when you take into the world of the universe, you are the ambassadors of this planet. Ambassador means representation of the president and the leader of your nation. So you have to carry his integrity and his ethos. Nowadays we have 180 countries, and we have 180, if we can afford it, ambassadors in each. Not many nations can afford that. Now that we open the spans of universe, there are billions of stars and gaps and cavities of creations in the universe, that 7 billion man is not enough to have an ambassador in every corner. We don't want to be out when they say, look at the wild guys from that planet have come. The ambassador has to be the one who says, the man of peace arrived. They understand the work of the universe and they abide by it. That we stand as a beautiful rose, not as a thorn in the back of the universal community. We teach you, let's start slowly, slowly. Try to practice the, as I call in the sandbox, with your emotion, and find out what gives what emotion of you in different boxes. Bring the boxes together, separate them, and feel, and give emotion, and see how they interact. Then close your eyes and make a recording of what you want, what you see. Then make a further test in wanting to touch, to reach. Without reaching, you touch and you feel. The size of the body of the man will be the extension of his emotion. We do that on the earth. Now we learn to do it in the freedom of the space. Teachings from now on is at the Spaceship Institute level. In a way, you have all been around to upgrade yourself very rapidly. Playing in the kindergarten of the earth is over. Now you're in the first class. You've got to learn how to hold the pen, to be the pen of peace. You have to learn where to sit, that it becomes the seat of justice. You have to learn how to speak, that the soul of the man speaks without the word of the man. Then I'll take you to step number 2. And by God's name, I hope this won't take centuries. I don't have the time. Try to practice. Try to, the way you're happy with, record. That you can start teaching yourself the control of the emotion, the taste of the food, the energy of desire, the physicality of a touch without the touch. I have taught this physicality touch many times. You remember what I tell you, to put your hand out and count and send the information to your finger, but don't move it. And then do it the second time, don't move it, just to learn how the information has to go. And the third time do it, send the information and move it. This was a practice for you to learn how you can send the energy of the motion, of the touch and movement and feeling without the physicality. Now you see, I have taught many things, but you looked at the physicality. But the aim was to teach you the eventuality of the control of the emotion without touching, but being able to feel without actually getting there to touch, to be able to do something wrong. We stop man from doing anything wrong. It's for man to understand it and to practice it. Try to make, as I was explaining before, I've done this to Arman recently and to one of the teachings. Try to practice multiple GANs making. What does this mean? If you remember, very short time, we sent some GANs boxes which are like 6-sided, and then they had plates you could put inside or outside. Do the same. Instead of having a copper nano-coated and a zinc nano-coated, get a big box, a square box. Put one plate in front of the other. Change the salinity in one part and put some salt in the other part. And gradually graduate yourself to build up the emotion of the condition. Because now you had a copper plate and you had a zinc plate, but this time you have a nano-coated zinc and a copper plate which is not nano-coated. You have an iron which is nano-coated and the iron which is not nano-coated. Now you have a salt of magnesium and a salt of potassium, and you have the other salt. Then start interacting with the ganses. Don't make everything like a big soup, you don't know what's in it. Start practicing step by step. You find the key to the universal community. Try to connect a nano-coated copper plate into the iron non-copper plate and the iron copper plate with a direct line which is nano-coated, and see what happens. Connect the magnesium to the amino acid pot and see if you change the color to green, using the iron as the source of creation of the hemoglobin. Would you see yourself in the color green of the Martian in the box and you say, I can behave even though I'm green? Because somewhere in a space you have to change, or you look green because it's the interaction of the fields that in that environment allows you to confirm your existence. Color white does not exist in the deep space. It's been the imagination of the man for confirmation of his stupidity of superiority. The color of universe is transparent, without any color. And the power of it comes from its transparency, because you can never find the real essence and the point of the source, as every point is the source on its own. I teach you from now on the language of universe. It's for you to catch up, if you don't want to be a tomato, as they say. Is for you to move on. For those of you who are on the edge of the understanding of the technology of the Foundation, you have a race. The time and the clock is ticking. Teach and show. Instead of just showing a GANS box, show the confirmation of different GANS boxes, and let people now sit in the front of this and show me how I feel in respect. This box is a box of my anger or my joy or my happiness or my feeling. There are those of you who were in the Sansana with me, 7 of you. You sat for this test. And those who were the murderers knew on the spot, because I put them on the spot. I made a star formation and I put 2 detectors facing each other, and I put the student in front of it. And I sat in front of the monitor and I asked questions. And the truth was detected in the level of physicality. Arman can tell you that, he sat for it. And the others. I knew what I have in my hand by sitting them in front of the level of their own physicality. The lies, the cheat, and the murderers. I knew the Judas in front of me, sitting in front of the box. 2 of them. The one and the collaborator. They know who they are because they know the test they sat in front of. Now you become the GANS box and you. And then you know, if you say I love you, if the box moves, the GANS moves, shows your emotion away, you mean you're lying to yourself. If it comes close, I need more. So you test how your words and emotion and the soul will reflect in the box. And this box in time will be another entity of the universe. You cannot say a man of the peace in the back of your mind, how I'm going to kill this guy, is going to taste good. Because the box will show you. Start teaching the next level. When you go from now on in workshops, when you taught that, bring the box of the truth in front of you. Give them different ganses. Let them make different ganses, because they carry their emotion, and let them, for them to see how close they are between their physicality and emotion. and connection to their souls. But don't make it a magic box, and don't make it a voodoo box that I'm going to ask the box what the box thinks, because what the box thinks is actually you, what you feel in truth, which you don't want to confirm to yourself. So it's not a stranger, it's you showing the reality of how good you are connected to your soul and emotion. The journey of the man into space is going to be horrendous, because man will learn that he cannot hide anything. We will be as naked as the light itself, and that's why we will shine. We have to understand the reality of the existence. We have to understand the reality of the existence of ourselves, our own souls, and nobody else's. Because in the space, if you are the last man standing, it's your soul who makes the path for you into salvation, and nobody else. The salvation of the peace that I am prepared to give the rest of what I don't have, what I don't need, to the universal dimension, that it can be used by somebody somewhere else in another dimension. The ultimate truth about the world of existence. I came from what I become of. I created a man in the image of myself, as myself is the image of the Creator. In truth, they are all one. Those who are wise understand, and those who look at the physicality is far-fetched in the realms of understanding. The teaching of the Spaceship Institute from now on brings man to judge himself and nobody else. It's you who have to stand the time in the space. If you go back to the teaching some times ago, I said that there are those who walk to the spaceship but they will not enter because there is no border control. But except the soul of the man, he knows he carries the wrong intention. Then you cannot fool your own soul. As you remember, I said many times, there shall be no place for the world leaders, as their hands is dirty with too many suffering of the others. They will not enter. The prison becomes the earth, that they don't see the pleasure of the universe. The hell for man will be the village of earth, where he is forbidden to see the beauty of what the Creator has created for the man to see. That's the point of suffering. You always thought there's going to be heaven and hell. The hell will be man knowing that he's not access to others' beauty and pleasures. Welcome to the truth of the universe. Welcome to the reality of what is to come in coming time. Welcome to understanding your own existence. Welcome in you comprehending further in how much is to be learned and how little we knew and we thought we know everything. We called ourselves Ashraf al-Makhluqat. In Arabic means the head of the creators, the king of the kingdom. The ultimate top dog of the creation, where we are actually the bottom eaters of the totality. So let's learn, let's change, let's bring that phase in that we move on. as individuals, and with us we take the others in development of the technology. We still have to deal with the physicalities and the existence in bringing the others who need to be part of it, who will be part of it. Those of you who teach, you have become the messengers of the message of peace. But this time you don't carry the message of peace as a Bible, or Quran, or Torah, or any other thing. You carry the message of peace in the boxes where you teach man the creation of the fields, the ganses, that the man decides the interaction of his own soul with his environment. In a way, we are all teachers of one thing: peace, not only on this planet, but creators and the creation of peace across the universe. Not many will pass the test. As man has learned over time the greed of possessing more, and thus will become the noose around his neck, and the limitation of his development of understanding of the totality. Try to understand, try to go into the next level of teaching. You have taught yourself the matter state into plasma and fields. Now it's time to see, even without the GANs, how the fields respond to you. Do you see light in the vision of the horizon of your eyes without an eye, where the light shall speak? In the dimension and the strength of the soul, without the ear you shall see, hear, and without the eye you shall see. This was the position of when the soul of Moses was elevated. He spoke about a fire. All the prophets speak about the light. In that instance, they see the opening of the light of the knowledge of the universe. And as they did not understand, they call it the God and the Creator, where in fact is the essence of the creation of the universe. Enlightenment should have brought peace, but enlightenment, when it translated its power, it became greed, murders in the hand of Moses. We saw the following of the same in the hand of Christians, and the worst came with the Muslims. The knowledge became Chinese whisper, because it's changed its level from the level of the soul to the greed of physicality of the man. In the time of Moses, he carried the murders in his own hand. In the time of Christ, the ones who became his followers, they tried to do it as priests. And then, in the time of Muhammad, went really low to the level of the man killing man to confirm the existence of God. How low could we go? We've seen the repetition of the same of work of Muhammad, bless his name, with the rulers of the Islamic world, and in the past 30-40 years in the name of Muhammad, his name. In time, it's getting worse than getting better. We've seen the same with Christianity. We see the same with Judaism. We see the same with the others. The only ones who have walked away and understood more, because they look at the enlightenment, is the ones in the Far East. Because they work in the path of the emotion of the soul, not the physicality of the greed of the land. Try to make, now you made the ganses, make combination of ganses and test your own emotion, because you are the judge of yourself and nobody else. You all have these little tiny mobile cameras on your phone. Record it next to your eye. See what you see in your eye and see what the reality the camera records. Do not force it. Feel it. And then we see the education has started. It's you who have to educate yourself. Try to work with the dimension of no matter state but the fields, and then you break through. Those of you who are happy to stay teaching ganses and making motors and everything else, this is the level you have to work, because in time you teach or inspire somebody. Those who jump the steps to understanding more will become the spaceship makers, and those who go to the further steps become the passengers of the universe. And there are many passengers on this planet, but not the whole of mankind. Try to not to exert your wish, your knowledge, your emotion and your soul's power, but be the recipient that in receiving what is needed is given. Never take, but accept what is given. Because of it, you shall give more than you receive more. Try to understand the totality. Try to understand the reality of the essence of the creation. And now you have a sandbox. You have all your GANs boxes. Start testing. Put it in the core and see with your emotion you can create motion in the core without the motor. You've seen that with the test we showed last week with John. You've seen that 2-3 years ago when the decision was made that the physicality and dimension of the emotions could stop the reactor number 2 in the Sansana. Now, make that the stopping of the reactor, the stopping of the man in physical dimension, that he can work through the energies of it, through the soul of the universe. Then you walk through. Try to practice from now on, not making GANs boxes or making GANs materials, but the interaction of the fields of the GANs boxes you made with your own emotion. You'll find the truth about yourself. And many of you would not like to see what you will see. You think you felt good, but in fact, what you wished was opposite, because the soul was aware of the reality. You just wanted to know, if I can make that wish because I thought of it, I can show it. But in the universe, there are no masks and no cover-ups. Try to understand your own emotion. Try to understand your own existence, that you don't need eye to see. You see through. Try to test yourself. From now on, the race is on for man to know his own soul, the connection of his own soul with his own emotion of physicality, and how he wants to show that physicality. Many of you who wish to be black will become black. Many of you who want to be white overnight, you will change your color to white. And then you see if the heart is black or still white, even though the color of the skin has changed. The emotion of the man is not in the heart of the man, but is in the soul of the man. And you shall see. You become the chameleon of the universe, because the condition of the environment dictates for you to be, to survive. That you don't give too much, that you have no more to give, and you endanger your own existence, and you don't take too much, that you endanger others. Balance is the order of the universe. You made the boxes. Now these boxes of ganses you made is a box of the judgment of the level of understanding of your own emotion and your soul. And then make boxes of the others. and see if you are correct in conduct. Then make boxes in the understanding of the insight of the man, because now when you look at the emotion, the box cannot be made of those materials and the fields which are in the soul level. You have to make a new box with the emotion level of the man, where the zinc and copper play a little bit, where in the other one is iodine and something else. And then you play only with the physicality of the man, where it's nothing but the matter states of this planet's cancers. And then you see how you interact. Start playing the piano and see which key you have to press to what you get. Welcome to the first lessons of joining the universal community. You cannot sit behind the driver's seat till you learn what is the ignition key, what ignites it, which one is the clutch and which one is the brake, and what happens, you press the wrong one, the engine collapses and you get pulled to the other side. The steering wheel is the emotion of the soul of the man, and you see how you steer the whole thing together. Start making as many boxes as sit in the middle of it, and see, record what emotion at what time created what, and try to tune, fine-tune and fine-tune, that you end up with one box. That in that box you become the true light of yourself. Then you are ready to become passengers of the universe. Any questions? You just thought you are graduated in nano coating and making GANs, and now you find out you are back in the school of holding a pen just to learn the alphabet of universe.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I did have a short question earlier before there was a lot of other questions and comments put in. Let me just get back to it here. Somebody else, I'll just remind our viewers that I do have a viewer with his hand up, Dick, who does have a question of some sort. Maybe we can have him make a comment. I'd just like to remind people, try to keep the questions relevant to our talk here today so far. I'll promote you, I think it's Dirk actually, not Dick. Put my glasses on and see for sure. Sorry, yes, it is Dirk. Perhaps we can start with Dirk. Dirk, are you there? Do you want to ask a question? I'll try to unmute you as you did have your hand up. Hello, go ahead.
I'm Dick from Münster in Germany, and
Hello, we can't hear.
Yeah.
Can you,
Okay.
do you have a microphone? Can you speak up?
Yeah, right now.
We can't hear.
No, it's not very good. You're going to have to get your microphone situation better there. Maybe you have to choose the microphone in the Zoom correctly, or oh, it sounds like a bad connection. Sounds like your microphone connection. Okay, we can't. Sorry, we can't take your question like that. You're going to have to sort out your microphone.
Okay, I'll try.
Maybe it's better now. Can you try it now?
I'll just check it.
Okay, we
It's
can
very
hear
low. Your
very
level is
low. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Now, just speak louder. Perhaps that's the reason.
Now it's breaking up there, but try it again.
Okay. Then it's Then it's a connection perhaps, or I will put it up on the system.
He writes it up and you read it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I write it up. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Trying to mute and it won't mute him. Vince, can you try to mute that person? I can't mute. Or Dirk, can you mute your microphone, please? For some reason it won't mute from this end. Dirk, can you mute your microphone or not there?
Yeah, I just have some trouble. I don't know what happened.
Okay, I'm gonna demote you to viewer, and you can still put your comment in.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's try again here. Maybe we have somebody else in the panelists who has a question. Otherwise, let me go back to that one I was looking for here. Let's see. I hear a voice in the background.
Mr. Keshe, good morning.
I think it's something wrong with it. With could be our system. We have the same problem with Azar now.
Well, she usually starts a little weak but comes on stronger.
Can you hear me now?
This is typical Persian women. Don't worry.
Well, I think it's actually the software, but we can blame them. Like, it is part of their software too, I think.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Azar.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, it's coming through. Thank you.
Okay, so I can ask question. I guess nobody has any questions.
Limited to numbers, please.
Okay, in terms of the ganses of the salt, I have made the GANs of all the salts: calcium, potassium, magnesium, nitrogen, and so each of them should give me different kind of emotion when I interact with them. I gather from what you are talking about, and
Depends how you made them, what you made, the way you made it.
I made them the same way I made the CO2 and zinc GANs of with the nano-coated copper, and
now sit in front of it and see what emotion moves what.
okay, because I actually have them all together, and I made patches of them as well too. And also what I did, I made the cup of life. I took a cup that I put water in the 2 layer of the cup, and I measured their strength, and each of them had different strengths. Like calcium and potassium had higher strengths than the other ones.
You have to test. You see what emotion. Don't mix the ganses together. Try to keep them separate, even not near to each other. That you start understanding, not the first one, not the 10th one, not the 100th one. If he's not in the right strength, it's not necessarily mean you have found it. But when you find the first one, then you know what you're looking for.
Can I drink them?
As long as you don't drink the gans itself, yes.
Okay.
Water gans is no problem with it. Let me explain to you a couple of things which I think will be interesting. When you make plasma water or plasmatic gans, or you carry the energy, you don't carry the matter state. When we had Wernie, if he's on the line, he can explain it because he explained it beautifully in the teaching yesterday. Do you see Wernie in the background? Yes, in how to use ganses and the way you got to use the ganses, the orders you got to use the ganses, or even mix them together, and how you want to mix them to what get an outcome? Do you see Wernie in the background? Is he
I'm
there?
here, Mr. Keshe. I'm here.
Rene, could you please explain in how you explained yesterday in the teachings
Okay.
that people understand, because this is important and many people never understood this, but at least this way you might understand it and you will see how you even interact or mix different ganses together for whatever reasons you want to measure your soul or your sight or whatever. Go ahead, please.
Okay. When adding liquid plasma to water, especially multiple liquid plasma of different strength, it is best to add first the lightest strength and then add next the next in strength, and last should be the heaviest in strength. This is done to have a consistent flow from heavier to lighter strength. So we have to be consistent in this flow, that we do not create an opposing flow when we put different in different manner. So the effect of doing this on the water or even on our body is much better than doing it the other way. So I've observed this and even tasted drinking water with an additional of let's say CH3 and CO2. The taste is different when done this way than the other way. And I've been observing the effect also. I would say I feel it is much better doing doing this method, lighter than heavier than the heaviest, the last one. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. What Rene is trying to explain is that how you mix the ganses, you dictate the elevation and the position in the plasma strength. It's better if you are mixing ganses to build up from the base up. Those are with a plasmatic atomic mass strength of the lowest you put in first. So you cover base from outside. You fulfill the full requirement of what is needed at a point of interaction. Then you add CH3 is 15. Then, for example, if you want to add CH4, is the second one. If you want to add CO2, that's the third one. If you want to add amino acid, it's the fourth one. If you don't do that process, even if you are taking ganses, mixture of ganses for different applications or for different reasons, you always start with the lightest first. You give it a space, you take the next one. And this is how it should be done. If you mix the first one with the fourth one, you get totally different energy transfer. Even then you put the second one in third. So it's important for us to watch very much the way step by step you follow to get the perfect GANs. How now to mix the GANs to get the perfect condition you want. The beauty with a lot of work you do, especially if you're looking for understanding of the work of the GANs with the physical dimension need of the man, you always have to add two things to it. One is the amino acid, secondly hemoglobin. Then the condition will be of those which is in reality at the strength of the plasma of the body of the man. If you just put amino acid and put magnesium, you will get with it what is to be a plant. And you don't want to be there. So you dictate with the presence of the materials and the ganses, the condition that you want to create to be connected to man, to you, to a dog, to a tree, to a stone. learn the process of interaction of the fields, not the physicality observation of the matter. Because when you put liquid gans of the CH3 in the water and the liquid gans of the CuO in the water and CuO2, you don't see it still is the same water. They all are so transparent. And this is one of the problems we have in measuring what's what and what it does. This is important for us because in this knowledge we have to understand to be blind to the world of physicality, because this is what we have decided to do. This is what we have wanted, how we wanted it, the way we wanted it, and would this be in the condition that we want. Do we want to add in so many ways how and where and the way we want to do it? And would it be better to put the heaviest first and go from heavy to the light? If you go from the heavy to the light, then you create the condition of existence of the plasma. The heavier, stronger fields will dominate and overpower the weaker. But where the other one is vice versa, you already stand out in the condition, how you want it, the way you want it, and how you want it to change. It is important for us to be, in so many ways, have a full understanding of our own existence through our own work. When you put different strength plasma fields, they all look the same. When we will show the pictures of the products which are to be marketed in a coming time, you will understand this very fast, very clearly. That it all looks water, transparent. The new products coming out of the Keshe Foundation Ghana clearly explains that this is a dilemma for the world of science. And this is what is driving people crazy in the world of science. It's water, but I feel it, I drink it in a certain sequence, I don't have a blood pressure, I drink it in a different sequence, I lose my diabetic, I use it in a different way, I get rid of typhoid, I use it in a different way, I walk away with cancer, but still a water. We'll release these pictures, you will see it is amazing, the mayhem we have created in the world of commerce and science. And those who want to understand it are in more confusion than anybody else. It's the way we should understand how, what we want. In a way, what happens if you make a bathtub of these and you go inside it? If you make a glass box, would you disappear physically, not to be seen? Because the plasmatic magnetic field of you and the environment created is of the same. We shall show this in Accra very soon. Is what you call the hidden energy of the plasma. It's very hard for a lot to understand, but there is no difference in structure. But in the energy carrying, it does. Now try to make a water which carries the energy of your soul and carry it with you in your hand. God help you. Make a water gans which carries the emotion of the happiness in it of your soul and your emotion, and put it in your pocket. Wherever you walk, you're always happy because it's so powerful that overrides anything else in you. They say, oh, the happy chap is here, and they feel it, they become happy with you because there is a, I hope your happiness is not their little anger point. The time of playing and enjoying life with the plasma technology has just started. If I tell you the things you can do with it, you go crazy and mad with it. Because it's so much to do. As Alex says, I don't want nothing else to do. I eat, breathe, sleep, plasma technology. When it touches your soul, you get the pleasure of understanding it. It changes your life. It depends if you manage to make the strength which gives you the satisfaction of the existence, and then that's it. It's like falling in love. When you're touched, you can't let go, because the freedom from it is beyond understanding of the physicality. Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, this is Ioannis from Greece.
Speak a bit louder, please.
Yeah, I'm trying to speak loud. Can you hear me now?
Rick, I think our filter level is too low, Vince, somewhere in the background. Is that possible? You could check, somebody can raise it.
I'm not sure. There was a new update to the Zoom today, so maybe that altered something. The Zoom may be different now.
Okay, carry on, please.
Okay, I've got one question that has to do with ganses.
Can you explain to us who you are? Please introduce yourself.
Yes, I am Ioannis and I am from Greece.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. My first question is, if we add two ganses together, for example, CH3, which is an atomic mass of 15, and CO2, which is 44, is the result a new plasma of the field 59? Is it simple addition?
No, but you have to learn how much of which one you have put in. Is it one, let's say, gram of one and 2 gram of the other?
Okay.
Yeah, you have to learn the mass ratio is important, because there's more of to give, so they dominate the strength. It's like in the medical applications, we put double the mass of the one in the back and the front. The transfer of the energy from back to front is a directional in magnetical level, but in gravitational level is in the reverse, where the highest goes to the lowest. So
I'm not sure I understood that last part.
When you put the higher order strength plasma with a lower order in the strength of the plasma,
yes,
you receive higher order gravitational magnetic field from the strongest to the weakest. But when you release the fields from the weakest, it's ungravitational, is weaker, that the stronger from the other side can pull to itself. So if you look at it, the field from the north pole of the weakest is gravitationally weaker than the gravitational fields of the strongest of the south pole of the strong. That it allows it to pull it to itself, otherwise it'll be feeding back. And it's the same on the magnetical side. You have to understand that the fields carry both gravitational and magnetical, is not one way. And at the same time, your magnetical poles, similarity, they repel each other. So it means the part of the field flow goes for separation. And the same is from your south pole. You have two fields, one on the top and one on the bottom, which they interact. And then you have two fields which from the top of one interacts with the lower of the other, and from the top of the other one with the lower of the other one. This has to be taken into consideration, and that's why when we speak the field strength of the plasma, we deduct the two repulsion to give the total mass of the gravitational mass balance. Let me explain to you to understand. Can I share, please?
Just go ahead, Mr. Keshe.
This is what we've been teaching, and that's, you have a plasma. You have four field forces. North pole, North pole. This keeps the repulsion. You have the south pole. In a way, which again creates a repulsion. And then you have the magical North Pole to the south. And then you have another one, which is, if I can choose, is this one to this one. So your total balance, we always say, is about 20 to 30%, sometimes up to 50%. Is when the balance here is the deduction of the yellow and the red and the blue and the, what do you call it? The other one, the other red at the bottom.
Pink.
What do you call it? The brighter pink one, whatever you call it. So this is the balance which you get, because these two are repulsion, which means they are releasing. These two are the absorption, which are interacting to receive. These are the four field forces that we always have to consider. And when you take, in a way, B and P away from it, it gives you total mass exclusion by 30% to 50%. This gives you the atomic mass of the plasma, because you never consider plasma on its own. You consider plasma in respect to interaction with the other plasmas in the environment, because plasma on its own does not exist. So it's better to be real. And the more you have, the heavier elements you have as a plasma, the more you lose here. So we go up to about in the balance field of 20% on reverse, and then the lighter you become, like hydrogen, is so much that you can go up to 50% reduction. Because the extraction of the fields in the balance equal level is too much, so you lose a lot to keep the balance. If you get ring magnets and play with it, you understand it very quickly. So you cannot go and say, if you balance it with this, what created it? You have to consider every aspect of the interaction. So it doesn't become because you add one to the other, it gives you that level. I hope I'm clear.
Thank you for your answer. So is the first part of the equation the magnetical part of the plasma and the second the gravitational?
Yes, you have two magnetical and you have two gravitational.
Yes.
The magnetical are the north poles repelling each other and the south poles repelling each other.
Yes.
Gravitational is the interaction of the north pole, what goes to the bottom of the south, and of the bigger one to the weaker one. But when you have hydrogen, hydrogen is about two of the same, which is about 50% reduction. So in a way, when you consider hydrogen environment, you consider not as one, you consider as half. But When you go, on the other hand, to high atomic mass, you go back in the same position because you have too many neutrons which are giving out, so the field coming out is much stronger than the balance field. And then you go back again, sometimes up to 30 to 50%. But half of 1 is not much, but when you are in 200 and 300, 20%, 30% is a lot. When you look at atomic hydrogen, with 1 you lose half, but if you look at something like 200, 20% is 40. It's a huge amount. And in all the interaction, depending on the environment, you don't get a 40. You have some which are on 40, some are on 39, some are on 35, some are 0, which means the balance equal, balance atomic structure. When you do the test with the gases of the, for example, zinc and near zinc, always consider the presence of the B12 in iron with the existence of the amino acid. Because it's not the zinc emotion on its own which is there. It depends how much this cobalt has changed, that or the cesium amount of the cobalt radiation exists near the iron, that it gives you the strength, different strength of the gamma rays. Some of the gamma rays in cesium play the same strength as the cobalt, but not all of them. And then that affects the ratio of the energy which is released in the interaction of the zinc and copper in the same container. Then you decide how much you feel good, you feel bad, and how you want to control the atomic mass. It's not a simple game. Universe has many games in this thing.
Yes, it does. If that's all about this question, could you be able to answer one more, please?
Yes, go ahead.
So this one has to do with the man, and if I can say the different bodies the man has. If the physicality of the man is a plasma, is also the emotionality of the man a different plasma, and the mentality of the man another plasma?
In the strength, could be the same entity. In the strength, yes. Emotion, the soul of the man is much stronger. And what you call the emotion of the man is a level down, because it changes, it reduces to become. And then the emotion then reduces in strength becomes the physicality. But in a way, if you look at it, you can have a spectrum of the same thing, but if the gap is big enough, you can have the soul, the emotion, and the physicality within the structure of one element.
So they're all parts of one bigger plasma, but they're not the exact same, right?
No, not in the strength, because one in reducing its strength becomes the other of the weak.
Thank you for this.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Keshe, I have a question.
Yes, answer.
Who is the one who talks then?
Ask yourself.
Where
We have changed in the physicality of the existence. We have converted some of our emotion into vibration, what you call the sound. The dumb does not speak but understand all the emotions, does not need a word to speak. Nor does the deaf needs to hear, but he understands the emotion and the feeling of the laughter, the joy and everything else. It's us who's translated it to be comfortable to understand which one is which. Laziness, I call it.
So when I talk, do I filter?
Yes, you filter your emotions to sound level. Because that way you can explain it to those who do not see your soul or your emotion.
So is it kind of hiding my true identity?
No, is a way of being able to, because of the pieces we have created, to be able to use it to be like the others, that we don't stand out as a dumb or a deaf. گر خواهی نشوی رسوا هم رنگ جماعت شو. It means if you don't want to stand out, become like the rest.
But you know,
He says,
sometimes I feel like the way I feel about my body, I just want to get out of this, but I don't know how to do it though. It just,
it's very easy, many times done. It's very easy. I do this frequently because, as I said many times, I'm ashamed to be in the body of the man, but the body of the man is the only way I can serve mankind to get rid of this trap.
thank you, Mr. Cash.
You're welcome. Any other question?
Hello, Mr. Cash. It's Pavel from UK speaking.
Is who? Hello.
Pavel from UK. Hello, Mr. Cash.
Hi,
I've got two questions. Hello.
How are you nowadays?
Very good.
Very good. Okay, carry on.
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Cash, I've got two questions.
Yeah.
If I can, obviously. The first one is, that's what you've mentioned earlier on regarding to creating a box with the ganses. If we start considering a human body as a big container of the different ganses with the different strengthnesses, and we start
to consider, let me see, you don't need to consider it, it is.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me. Yes, of course it is, yes. So in this case, when we start playing with emotions, and is during these games with the emotions, is our physicality is start, let's say, recognizing a certain phenomenons on certain parts of our body, and let's say, is that pretty much the same for all humans in a way?
Yes.
Creating some kind of pattern of progress, let's say, of understanding.
Let me tell you something, maybe we can expand in what you said in a very short way.
Thank you.
The scientists nowadays, they put electrodes and say this is the part of your brain which is your emotion, this is part of the brain which is your arm, and the rest of it. Why do we go all the way to go to the physicality, go back to where it is, and not to go directly to where it is in the brain without going through the physicality? And then see how the physicality responds in the respect to the emotion of the feeling in that part of the brain. Why don't we bypass the physicality and go directly in our brain? I know this is part where my emotions, and I want the emotion to be happy. And that happy part is that box, because when I feel happy, when I remember the joy of who I love, that box will start moving with that zinc or a calcium in it. So that's a box of love. And then see if you put that box of love, trying to bring it to physicality, does it come out like a kiss or a cuddle? And then you find out which way is how. You want it to be physical emotion, or you want it to feel direct energy transfer. We've got a lot to learn.
So that means some, let's say, certain, how to say it, sensations on our physicality, which one occurs on different, let's say, people in a pretty much same way. We can
not really, because near enough maybe.
Yeah. So can we just start understanding this as a pretty much of indication what's going on and how far we go with the understanding?
That is the purpose of the teaching from now on, for man to understand his own control of emotion without a physicality, and then through it to see his soul, and then you see the opening into the universal community.
Right. Okay.
When we call a spaceship, space is the body of the man. The ship is his emotion to be able to carry it where he wants to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Way around. We always look at the ship for us to carry something in it.
Absolutely agree with this.
It is the
And the
emotion
second,
which makes the physicality, and this is where we look at the wrong way. We use the physicality to get to the emotion. Carry on.
thank you very much, Mr. Keshe. And the second one is related to, let's say, if we create the plasma banking, let's say, in a way, we doing this, let's say, through our emotions with the different entities, and I mean the people, like the human beings. Can we, are we able to exchange, different things, which one we name like, wisdom, intelligence, the health, and,
Of course, you'll be amazed how you started speaking new languages without you ever spoken it.
yeah, that's what I'm waiting for to get to it. Absolutely.
It is very easy. They say some people learn languages very easy, but if you look in the background to it, you'll find out is the emotion which they put into it, which allows that connection of the learning, or you tap into a level of soul.
Yes. So that means if we expose the fields through our emotions, using, let's say, our interface with this environment, which our body is, can we, let's say, observe some kind of phenomenons when other people, obviously, they dictate what they want to receive, not we.
You feel them before they talk. You feel them before you see. You understand their motion. In so much martial arts, they teach that, but the man doesn't go beyond the expansion of it, but he can increase it. As I said, when you go into deeper space, you try to look at the lights, there's so much you don't see, because on the other hand, if you can extend, you see beyond the boundaries of even the spaceship which you create, because you have that strength. The vision of the man will come through his soul. And in a way, if you look at it, you become the center of the universe, as you shall see the boundary of the field, the strength of your own soul. One day man will understand.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe, indeed. Thank you very much.
Any other question?
There's a question that's somewhat related from Trevor in the live stream. Rick, could you please ask Mr. Keshe about the jinn, which he says are plasma beings? Are they controlling mankind? As in the Quran, it says that they were here on earth before mankind. Thank you.
Mankind came out of the condition of which was created physically, that it led to its existence, but the life has been here by the others who do not depend on the condition of the atmosphere of this planet for them to exist. It is very much, when man understands the work of the universe, man will understand the space is full of nomads. They don't need to wait for something to be created. They come, they visit, they go, they see, they feel. As I've said many, many times, when we open the video of the life of the man on this planet, man will be ashamed of what he's done. One of the things which has been kept and will be disclosed, and in so many ways I'll go back to it sometime, we will show the true behavior of Moses, because it made a huge problem. And then we'll see how many people would like to be called a Jew. Seeing it and ashamed to be part of humanity.
Well, maybe that gets to our next question here from Danny, who asks, can lost souls still be elevated?
You never lose souls. No soul is ever lost.
Maybe wandering soul, would that be another word?
No, you exist in your own dimension. You are not aware of loss. You live with the condition you have chosen to be in. It's like what we call, you know, the fish in a fish tank has only got 5-second memory. It doesn't remember it's been there 5 seconds before, so it can exist in the tank. Because it's the easiest way to forget his imprisonment in a way. In physical contraption and what do you call it, entrapment. Man's soul or any soul, it never gets lost. It's a condition that accepts to exist. Any other question? You have something to show from the teachings from the Swiss teaching last weekend. Am I correct, Rick?
Yeah, I think Jackie does actually. Jackie, are you there?
Go to that to see it. We try to promote the teachings as much as possible because it's got time. Time has come to start mass teaching. Do not be afraid of teaching, because those who object, it's just that they don't understand. Give from your soul and they'll be enlightened. Go ahead, Jackie, please.
Yes.
I
Hello,
stopped
everyone.
sharing that you can share. Let me come up, please, 1 second. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, perfect. So I have just make a little presentation of what we have done. It was the first conference for the French speaking under the Keshe Foundation education part. It was on the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday near Lyon in France. So then we have the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was 18 hours of teaching. Then we will go through what we giving in the teaching. So the people was sleeping and eating inside the workshop. So everybody stay there. So the first thing we started is build the team who were making all the organization. So it was some beautiful souls, the French people who take the responsibility to organize. So they organize everything, the room, the coordination, everything. So this is some people who will be part of the organization. Then we have a beautiful, because we choose to don't have every price. So we try to keep it very low, the price. So we found a really nice place. It's some like a school internat, but the weekend there is nobody. So they rent this kind of place. So the tariff is very low and not so expensive, but very nice, very secure, because all is closed. So nobody can come, and we are just with us. So it was place for quite 100%. We were 85 people, and it don't take too much material, just the beamer for the presentation, a good sono, because it's a lot of teaching, so the sound needs to be good. But no fancy things, you know, just the strict minimum. Then we just have some few things, you know, just some magnets that the people can play with the magnets, start feeling the fields. We have the people from the reselling part of the Keshe Foundation, so they have put some Magrav paint pad and paint pen, so they can show the products, different products of the Keshe Foundation. We see the difference with the magnet in space and on the flat table, so the people can start have this feeling in space and no more in the flat manner. There was some GANs and nano coating, so the people can have some feeling of the sensation of this. Then it was really nice and soft. You see the room, nothing fancy, but 10 euros per person per night. So it was quite wonderful. Then the food was the same. It's very low price, so no problem, and a very nice place. So I would say this place was really a good choice. Then different pictures of the different teachings and all the community, the 83%. So if we go through the process, we start with the presentation, One Planet, One Race, One Nation. Then with Mr. Keshe. Then we have the promotional video from the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. Then we start with the magnetic fields and what's a magnetic fields, what's a plasma. Then you have some tips after the videos. Then you go to the next step, because when you understand what's a magnetic field and plasma, you understand you have both gravity and repulsion. So magnetical and gravitational. So a lot of examples, a lot of stories. Then when you understand this, the people just start understanding the difference between an element, an atom, a molecule, and a cell. And at that point we can go, because now we understand the plasma, the magnetical, the gravitational, so we can make the difference between plasma, physics, chemistry, and biology. And we go in depth of that. Then when we understand all this, we just understand this is a science, and with this science, with this power you get, you need to have some ethos, because it's a lot of power. So we go through this subject. And then as we understand the plasma, the fields, we just understand we are here to create the condition, and we dictate the condition, and everything is created from there. Then when you understand that, you go into the nanostructure. What is the nanostructure? Was some examples, some very good with the people, you know, because we make understand the people are the plasma. And so they start creating nano layers between them and the field interaction. And at that point, yeah, you go on the fields interaction, because you understand the plasma interacts between each others and how they interact to create new matter and new dictated by the condition you decided. And at that point, you are ready to understand that we come from matter, we go to the nano, to the GANs, to the free plasma. So all the teaching every time with an example of these stories and all that. Then to go outside the matter state, you need to have no connection with the matter. So you need to understand the secret of perfect nano coating. So you have no more connection with the matter state. And we end up with the history and how can we write the next phase in history and what's the next step for planet Earth. Perhaps it's time to take the next step. And at that point, we try to make the people who wants to make the same conference be able to do that. This is why we choose some really easy parts of the video, so everyone can make it really easily. And there is some just a few testimonies. Great weekend, very good organization, very good teaching, super, super, super. Thank you for this moment of sharing, sympathy, generosity, goodwill, perfect organization. Thank you all, wonderful, appreciate the simplicity, your big heart, the organization, the organizer, the tariff, Jackie and his clear explanation, the beauty of each person's hearts sharing. So this is some of the testimonies, a lot of testimonies. And it was so beautiful because I see a lot of building workshop with the people showing the light when they show the MAGRAV system. And this is our light, showing the light, showing the 85 reactors built during this weekend. And I think the French people really understand this concept that they are the true reactors, and how many infinite possibility they have. And they start building a huge collaboration and field interaction between all this plasma. And at that point, this is not the important part, but it's important that the people understand we are 80% who paid. The price was 200 euros for everything, room and board, eating, everything. So this is the price. Then the cost for us was 120 euros. So you have the difference. It's 6 of 400s, and then from that we just give approximately 6,000 euros to the foundation. Because with the people organizing this, we just understand we have received so much from the foundation. We don't want to keep this money. We just take for paid our room, because we paid the room and everything. So we just take some money to pay our room and the fuel, and that's it. And we send everything to the foundation. And we have an extra donation, because people during the workshop can give to us some money for the Keshe Foundation, and we collect 1,000 euro more. So we have send 7,000 euros to the foundation. And I would say it was so beautiful for myself, because I do quite nothing, you know. The people just start believing to this project and make it possible. So they organize everything. It was so perfect. And then I was just coming and taking the presentation and start building the plasma, bringing interaction, and yeah, it was really beautiful. And at that point, the PowerPoint can be, in the future, would be available for the people who wants this. And here you just have all the videos for all the people will have all the videos from the Friday night, Saturday morning, and the rest. So I want just to show you 1 minute how it looks. I have already translated this beginning in English.
Soyez les bienvenus. Il y a encore 2-3 retardataires, mais nous les acceptons avec grand plaisir.
Turn the music off, please. Turn the music off.
Est-ce qu'il faut te présenter?
Turn the music off. Thank you. You can't have background music like that, Jackie, unless it's already okay. Does that non-copyright music?
It's the Flint intro video.
I don't think that's allowed to be played.
Yeah, we played without the sound, no problem.
Okay.
And now...
Jamila, on peut les applaudir, merci, merci. Jamila, elle est au fond là-bas. Yannick qui participe aussi, c'est la sœur à Jackie. Dominique Benoît, aux manettes.
And so you have the 18 hours teaching, so we are becoming fully open. We have nothing to hide. We show everything, all the teachings, and all the how the repartition, everything. So I think in the future it's the good way to work, you know, in the total collaboration and total transparency. And everybody was happy because we send the money to the Keshe Foundation. We received so much. The people were really happy with this weekend, and I think it's the future of the plasma technology. And I really want to thank a lot Mr. Keshe for all he's doing for us. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Thank you for the hard work and everything you're doing. And this is the path we go. The teaching has to become the cornerstone of the new technology, new understanding. And lucky this time around, large number of human race have been educated that they can understand. And hopefully we don't leave many behind that it can be abused by those who think they know a little bit more. Use these teachings to not only teach nano and gas making, but to elevate the soul of the man, that he understands how to help his soul, his emotion, that this can become part of his existence. The course of the teaching has to take this into account as in a major part. But what you have donated will go again towards what we are setting up. We have a target of 250 million to build the full center. It can go even higher now. We are looking at more details. But one way or another, it'll come together. We see talk from certain governmental organizations to donate as they cannot do but themselves space technology in one go to become part of it. We will see donations from the governmental organizations that their participation allows one nation organization for the space technology. We've been approached by a number of governments, a handful of them, that they would like to participate at the same of donating, having their scientists to be part of this technology in development, as they cannot do it on their own. And this is the beginning of it. We will see changes, it will come, and we'll be very open and transparent. And just while Jackie was talking, I received the contractual letters to confirm to start up the project. And it will be signed today, and more or less we start the whole procedure of building this site for humanity. We started from Africa as a human race. Maybe Africa is the place where we go to space too as well. But I hope this journey of few million years have taught us a lot to change our behavior and attitude. Thank you very much for your presentation. And if you are doing other presentations, please bring it forward. We learn from each other and we can add some of the teachings to the other part. But from now on, try to concentrate more in part of your teachings on how people can see the benefit of it in changing their own emotion and souls and understanding to bring them comfort and pleasure. The Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Center in Ghana will be the center point for humanity. In so many ways, we start calling upon most of the scientists of the Keshe Foundation to converge into Ghana to start a teaching center. We have already called it the Gans Valley. And you've seen the buildings being provided for us and the land which has been given to us. And now we see governmental institutes and other governments who want to be part of it. Initially, it's us who started it, but very soon you will see the influence and the prestige will bring governments trying to, what we call it, they want to be part of it. They want to be a major part of it. We will announce this in the coming time, that how the governments, military, and different dimensions of securities are coming in because they see they need to know to be part of it, that they can have at least understanding of what is to come. There is no fear, it's a joy. We've been talking to military for a long time, but now gradually they're coming to understand the time has changed. Maybe we have to use the energy in a positive way, and in so many ways you shall see. We can show you a range of organizations we are communicating and working with, and it was very interesting. It was amazing that how people are doing good for us. Yesterday, when I heard about the press and then them understanding what was going on, it gave them that they stood for the foundation. When this sir calls repetitively the press here to press them, They tell him, we've seen the good for this nation. Just get lost. And they go to another. And this has caused a lot of governmental organizations to look, what is this that we're receiving so much call from this guy and these people? And then when they see where we sit, the people we sit, and they go references, we want to be part of it. They were not informed, now they're fully informed, and now they want to be part of it. The enemies of us are serving us better, sometimes better than ourselves. This is fantastic. He came to destroy the foundation, and now he's still serving it, trying to destroy himself. But we got to concentrate on the positive way. And I've just been told by the security people on another site, the confirmation of his theft has been released. I would like to know how you can walk away with 265,000 of the nights. The emails have been released, so you can see we don't talk out of line. The same as surprise, I've just been told by securities, the Panama documents of the hidden accounts in use for terrorism by DL will be released in short time. You can see we don't talk. Panama accounts is referred to in a lot of documents that there are. Now we show the account. They thought they can defraud the nation and tell lies with the others. Now it's on the table. The government is after it, and they want to know how and how much they've been stolen out of. Goes back 27 years, 30 years. It's become a habit. They think it's their right to steal from the man, their soul and their life, and they poison them. You got to understand the development of the technology is part of man understanding himself. We teach, please teach. Those of who are happy with the power, let them have the power. With receiving the power, pain in paying electricity bills goes, then they have more time to enlighten themselves. The more pain and pressure we take off the public, of people, through the development and delivery of the technology, the more they have time that what this helped me, I want to show. We had an example without us knowing. A few months ago, a man in Ghana, in the United States, going to save his life with a blood pressure of 220 plus. They can't do anything for him. His family works in atomic. They tell him, come back, the technology has come, it's inside the atomic, they can help you. The man is a priest, if you can call him that way. They fly him back, because in the state he would have died, the blood pressure was going in there, so they brought him back. Benjamin helps him very little through the GANS technology, and the blood pressure just drops. Now he says, I have nothing. He's such a happy man. And him, the position he has as in the position of a priest or man who they trust, has contacted very powerful places. He just goes out. He said, this is me. They all knew he's dying from it. He would have died from the high blood pressure. So he just brings them in. This is I'm the example. And the people who come with him now, they have a problem. They see it now become a talk and talk, and it's just gone viral. That the technology is in Africa. We don't need to pay these prices of high blood pressure tablets and whatever. It's become a joy to serve humanity in Ghana. And then we transfer this knowledge. When now we go to a minister who he himself, his family has been touched by the technology, not by energy, by the suffering he could not help, by all the latest medicine, to another minister, another country, it's just the job is done. We are going crazy in the way the technology is going to spread. We've done the work. Now has moved into the level of government and senior politicians, world politicians. Because whatever they are, they have a disease, they have a problem. They cannot solve, otherwise it would have been solved. And when they come to us, we serve. Unconditionally. And now we see it. Now the discussion runs into the ministerial and presidential level. This is this, they all have a problem. You know, I have a cancer, I have a high blood pressure. Oh, Ghana Keshe Foundation just come in, they just give us a call, we go with the ambulance, like delivering water. We go into the highest legislation, medical application, or standard boards. In a board meeting of 10 or 15, they don't want to know. It's already proven. We said we've seen our secretaries, everybody else. Now what is next? How we go to the next step? Can we have this? And then they call back, says the order has increased. Can you bring more? And then it's the management, it's the people who run the countries, and then it's gone to the beyond the borders of Ghana now. This is how we serve us with the teaching like this, what we see with Jackie, with the work of the Keshe Foundation supporters around the world. The work is there because when we say Keshe Foundation, they say, oh, in Ghana, no, there is in Philippines, there is in China. So they can see it can move up to the level that is coming from both sides. We are paying off our hard work. When I walk in past couple of 2-3 weeks, around with the Ghana, with outside, with other people who are working with the Keshe Foundation in different governmental organization level, it's just, I said to Benjamin, it's just like, looks like the key to the heaven has opened up for the foundation. But we have to keep on teaching the 7 billion. We showed the nano, now we have to show the ethos of the space. As I start teaching slowly since New Year. The governments who opposed us, now they are inviting us. But they want to know what they can make for their nation. Last year, we've seen it. This year, we see more of it. Now the inquiries is coming from governmental level. We don't have answer for this. You've shown it, can you expand on it? There are 1.4 million farmers in Europe who their structure have asked for help because otherwise they cannot sell their products because of the contamination. 1.4 million farmers. I'm working on it. In the next few weeks we release it back and we work everything through the Italian government. We respect the nation we reside in and we work through the Italian government. But the products will be produced here in Ghana, exported from Africa into Europe. The first contracts are signed and everything is on the motion. Because nobody has a solution. Now governments see us as a solution, and the people who go out and write all the rubbish, let them write. They are bringing more and more people in. When you look at the way we work, it has paid off. Our way of exchanging technology, knowledge and energy for peace has touched a chord with the world leaders, with humanity. And that's where we've got to go. We have no choice. Man has tried everything. Invading, forcing, building walls, and everything has fallen apart. Teach from now on technology of human level and start teaching the technology of the emotion and the soul of the man at the same time. Then you see, you touch chord with everyone. Because everyone wants to be elevated, that they live a perfect, clean life. And that's where you're going to score. Not with the nano, with the cancer. You might help them on the way with their physicality. But when you touch the soul of the man, you free the man. Show them how. In the coming time, we will sell units that people can measure their souls. We measure the strength of their emotion. They can measure the strength of their communication with their physicality. This all will become part of you as the Keshe Foundation World Bible puts in public. We have no choice. We come into the space technology. We went through 2-3 years of transition from one to another. Now we are in the another. And we are, all of you who listened, understood, have joined it. You got to understand how and the way we are working. We teach in every level and we enlighten the man. The beauty of it is when you make people to make the GaNs of zinc oxide, you, in that process, because they are in the vicinity of it, gradually enlightens and it uplifts their emotion and their soul. That's how you see people get stuck with the Keshe Foundation, work with the research. Once they make that zinc, the transition helps. Anyone you've seen which goes into opposition and everything, it's because they never made anything. Talk is cheap. We have to make that difference. It's our job now to educate man into the universal community. We are all ambassadors of it. We've been given the tools. This process will take a few weeks or a few months. Once a number of you start building these boxes, start showing it, start asking somebody in Australia, I would like you, because I'm calling you, feel connected to you, to feel angry, and I want to see if the box shows your anger or your joy. You don't need to be in the position. The freedom of the soul of the man will come in accessibility of the universe. We'll have access to everything if you understand the secret of motion in plasma condition. We don't preach, we enlighten. It's for you to understand the strength of the light. And then you'll take into the spans of universe through the speed of the light of the universe, not the matter state which has limitation of it according to Einstein. Work and upgrade your teaching. Go away from, at the same time as you teach in 2-3 days, spend a day and a half in man to understand how it interacts with it, with this thing, with this ball. You don't need to have a box, make different ganses in transparent ball and let them interact with it. See how it rotates, how it evolves. Does it evolve? Is it at their strength? But teach one thing, don't force it. Let it come from the joy of interaction. Any other question? Or shall we call it a day?
Just having a look here. There's some minor questions, perhaps, but let me see here. Is there anyone else in the panelists who has a question for Mr. Keshe? Or it's been, what, 3 hours now, and probably close to being done.
I think,
okay,
I think
sure.
the teaching of today, if you understood, is not showing system, but teaching the reality about ourselves, where we have to go. Please do not forget the building of the Spaceship Institute is the target, the priority, and every effort will be made for it to be done. That we free the man. Very interesting will be how we get the governments to challenge to be part of the bigger part. It started, we've seen it. The military want to be in it, the governments want to be in it, and strange enough is the condition to participate, to be part of it, is very simple. The nation and the government has to sign themselves into the peace treaty. Let's see how many will join the spaceship and participate and develop it by signing it, committing their nation to peace. And as we know, Government of Ghana has already committed themselves to it. It was shown in January. So we are in the right place. And those of you who listen to the teachings and whatever you do and you teach, understand the condition is very simple. It's for us and not for our neighbor, my wife, or your husband, or whatever. It's for us to understand our own, and then through it we become passengers of the universe. Thank you very much for today.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. And I guess we can remind people that they can donate toward the Ghana expedition, sort of what you're doing, the Spaceship Institute and so on, through the website, correct? That would be the best way for people to donate toward that cause?
Or you can pay through the PayPal of the US Keshe Foundation. Either way.
Right. That's probably the best way for PayPal or alternative ways to pay.
We have a target of 250 million, considering the land has been donated to us by the government of Ghana. They have made the biggest contribution, the land worth millions. The land donated to the foundation for the work, Ghana Keshe Foundation, is already in millions. It's in the prime site, and it's a big sacrifice for the nation, but they see it needed to go to the next phase. So we have received our first multi-million donation from the government. We thank the government of Ghana, we thank the officials of Ghana Atomic Commission for their relentless support and in a way supporting us to be where we are, that we can support the nation and then the world. Thank you very much indeed.
Mr. Keshe, I'm wondering if there's other ways that people can help or donate in Ghana or toward the Ghana project other than money.
Yes,
are there needs?
There is a lot of ways. We at the moment we got to structure. We are moving into a SNAS building, the building we show on the headquarters of the Keshe Foundation till the site is built. And in next 2 or 3 weeks, Carol and I will move to Italy for the conference. Then we come back and the building project should start by then. We need support by equipment. We need large, at least 2 to 3 Raman spectroscopy. We need infrared spectroscopy. We need magnetic field detectors. These labs needs to be equipped with the latest that we can understand. We have already, Arman is putting a lot of effort in sending the systems here that we can show the flight system. In the coming time, you see the full structure flight system, which is getting developed in the US with the field testers. We need a lot of public teachings on understanding of the process of the flight. We need a lot of support in bringing governments in. Interaction with the governments and the Keshe Foundation has to come very rapidly. In a way, we had experience with this. When we started speaking and when we start giving the USB stick, if you remember, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, the government of Sierra Leone was the first government, the ambassador, which received the key. One of the first ones. It snowballed into Japan ambassador. It snowballed to the Italian ambassador. It snowballed to the Chinese and the Russians. And we saw, because everybody else had it, Americans came to get it. They asked for it. We released the email where they asked for it. And that led to the peace between Iran and the United States and 5+1. We've seen the path of knowledge for peace has paid off. We got to do the same now. We are releasing the knowledge of the information of the space technology to African nations. Surely Europeans and Americans are not going to fall behind. Surely the Chinese are not going to fall behind. When you build, we show you the banners which are made for Ghana. It says, fly into space from Accra. When we show this to the governments, they could not, the officials, the people who come to see it, they cannot believe it. Africa, Ghanaians going to space? When we explain the simplicity of the knowledge, they say it's possible, why not? We are in it. We don't go to fight. We don't make satellites to do this and that. We are teaching the knowledge freely, and we show it can be done. It shows when, the same as I said, we started with Sierra Leone with the patterns, keys. Now it starts with Ghana. Nations can participate as long as they're committed to peace. Our biggest problem is where we're going to expand in a few months. When we show Ghana as Keshe Foundation worldwide has a center, and all the Keshe Foundation supporters participate in its development and expansion, government wants to be there. We don't want to be behind what they call a third world nation. Now it's become a leading space technology. It works. We cross the borders through knowledge, and with it, governments will follow. We need to build this center. We have enough strength in numbers across the world to change it. We need to have those who write against us for the people to see our beauty. When they write, he promised to go to space, but why didn't you do it? Because you were enemies, you killed our people, you did whatever you do to delay. So they say, when we explain to them, says, now we are there, we make sure it happens. The more they write, the more they bring us up. The more they call, the more support we receive. Because strange enough, the press people yesterday, when they come to the factory, because there was a big meeting in the Atomic, they say, we heard from this guy, he says it's from Indonesia, whatever it is, he even lies about where he is. Then he says, here we seen the benefit, and the reporter says, can I have the medicine and the water because I have a high blood pressure? And they go and they come back because there's more of them in the press who need help because they're all sick. So voila, make as many calls because now we know the truth. Let them oppose, because these are the fertilizers of the development and opening. The surety of the success is in serving humanity, and we do unconditionally. For us, with my family, to stay here is totally opposite to what we are used to. But the price of peace for mankind after thousands of years is worth it. It's not the suffering, it's a pleasure of serving humanity. We need things, we need everything. Ghana is very advanced, but we are bringing the most advanced technology into Ghana, so we need to support it. We need to bring dimensions into the understanding. We need to understand what we need. We need everything. We need furniture. We need as we send you the pictures, you will see the beautiful lush land which is given to us. We walked on it with the architects a couple of days ago, and they are cultivating on the land. It's a fertile land. There is sugar canes on it. They are growing plantain on it. They are growing cassava on it. It's a prime land position worth millions. But the advancement of the nation for the government and the authorities is what to give this land. The farmer says, we move the other way. No problem. We have a beautiful small brook river crossing the land. It will be used to show the beauty of the nature. We would not destroy anything to build something to prove we can do something. We incorporate and we collaborate. I have given thoughts to the architects. There are some huge mango trees. I said no trees should be touched. Find the buildings around it. We try to bring everything possible in a normal way. We have to build to bring the progress, but we don't build just to be there because we are somebody. We are there to make a change. We're given instructions that buildings have to be of one story only. We are collaborating, we are incorporating all the knowledge of the Keshe Foundation in every material used in the building. We're collaborating ganses in the brickwork, not to use air conditioning. We are collaborating in bringing the GaNs materials we know to block the sun rays, that the building stays cool. The power energy unit the same. The power purification, we can use the river, we don't need to put pressure on the outside. Everything we have, and we use all our knowledge to show a new environment, using a new technology, but at the same time being able to go to space. Being able to open the space to man in the right way that is open to everyone. When I explain to the scientists how easily we can go to space without having what has been 7 years of what I call swimming pool training, that it can go, it touches chord with them, they understand it. So what a fool, why have we gone this way? But we had to go because it was part of knowledge gain. Now we understand more. We don't kick the bike because we have a jumbo jet. We still ride the bike when we need. We get on the plane when we need to go. Now we go faster in a different way into space. We need everything. You can donate, but this is the right way to do. We set up organizations and groups to control what we need. Furniture, we need vehicles, we need everything you can imagine, computers, laptops, all needed. But cannot be what is a leftover pieces of somebody I don't need. It has to fit into the structure of the work that is a unison in the whole structure. We can control it, we can have it that it can be beneficial. Our priority at the moment, especially on the research side, to understand the materials is latest Raman spectroscopy systems. That we can quantify what kind of gases gives what field strength. Because if you work with Raman spectroscopy, it doesn't give you if it's a hydrogen. It gives you a spectrum of 22 elements or 25 elements in infrared spectroscopy. That we can see this material creates these fields and which way we can use it for what if we change something. We need field detectors of the highest order that we can see how the reactors behave, how the space is built. We need finances to build the place. There's no doubt. We will be given the protection by the Ghanaian military. As a military base, we are part of the Ghana Atomic. So everything is protected. When we went on the land, the protectors of the land, they were in such a hurry to come to see us. Thank you for bringing this into Ghana. We met one of the kings a couple of weeks ago. He says, come to my place, I give you the land and you build it here. Then we become part of a kingship. In Africa, still kings exist. Local kings are more powerful than the government. We are receiving a lot of support, but now we have to expand it beyond. We need a lot of things. Anything you can imagine, we need. As I said, we need those of you who are knowledgeable in the correct way to build plasma fields, to build equipments for upright GaNs units for medical application. The first unit has been donated to the Keshe Foundation Ghana, thanks to His Excellency Dr. Rodriguez in the United States. He should be on his way here. You will see the latest models built by him and his wife donated to the Keshe Foundation Ghana. The first equipments are arriving. We need to do the conferences, we need to show the paperwork, we need to show the research, but at the same time we need to do other things that it brings everything together. And in the coming time, it's us who can change the course of thousands of years of what I call the wrongdoing of our parents, that we put everything right for all of us. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you for that additional part there, Mr. Keshe. Okay, that'll wrap it up for the 161st Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, March 2nd, 2017. And as always, thank you everybody for attending. Okay, we'll close the live stream now. And we'll just take a minute to shut down the Zoom here and allow everything to catch up.